Welcome to the Voice of Liberta, where we are beginning the journey to uncover your true calling of your heart. I'm Liberta Widestone, your host, and this place is not just podcast or show. It's a cozy space filled with the real stories, with true connection with people, and many moments for inspiration for you. In this busy world, I would like to create a peaceful garden here at Voice in Liberta. This is the place where I can gently unwrap the life stories, dive into our feelings, and share on the amazing strength we found in just being ourselves. So, thank you for joining us and listening. And I'm so excited today to present you incredible, amazing lady, my guest, Vimala, who is from another exotic country, is from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And I had honor to met her in New York, where we both were keynote speakers in Women Empowering Conference. And she was such a nice and kind lady who come to me to support, not only by hug, but saying, what important work I'm doing, that my speech was really empowering. And she was the first person who bought my first newborn baby, my book. So thank you, Vimala, not only for buying my book, but the most sincere thank you that you come here to help me support my idea to spread the voice of Liberta, which is encouraging every person around the world to listen their hearts. And I know that you have incredible stories, and your speech in New York was really powerful. And you know what? This, soft lady said, "Oh, the cat stole my tiara." Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
So we were a little bit shocked, all the speakers, she looks very, gentle, soft, polite, and, she stand in front of us and said, give this no strong question. So yes, Vimal, and I know that you are very empowering coach for team and individuals. And it's at the moment you are in London, and it's pity that we cannot meet again face to face. But the most thing is today, what I would like to ask, who encouraged you, or who pushed you to start your life in that amazing country like Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia? Because I know that you used to live in London.
Yes. Thank you, Vaida, for that lovely introduction. And it was such a lovely pleasure to meet you in New York. That's where we met and I got to know you. But your talk was so touched my heart because it was coming from your heart, your story. So I really then connected with you. And then we went out for the evening and we carried on talking. And then I thought to myself, oh, what a wonderful, beautiful woman. This was my thought. And I thought, God, she has so much to say. So that was how we got to know each other. And of course, it was 2 days with other women as well and hearing all their stories. So my story is, my beginning is actually, I was born in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And at the age of 19, I came to London to train as a nurse. And so I come from a poor family. So the reason the reason why I went to, or the opportunity that took me to London was really not something that anybody would have imagined, because my father didn't have the money to send me to London. But he was a very wise man. So he had connections and he bought shares in one of the newly formed companies over in Malaysia. And because he was a shareholder, he wasn't. He went to the company and the organization and said, "My daughter wants to go to London. Can you all help me?" And they said yes, and because they have educational funds, so they gave me a ticket. That's how I came to London. So London was a bit of a culture shock. So at the moment it's winter, so I left my home, warm place, on Boxing Day, and I came to London in a freezing winter's evening in
With
my
you too.
sari, with my long class. So I froze. I really froze, and it was a bit of a culture shock as well for me. But I settled down and I finished my training. And for 3 years, I couldn't go home because we were earning pittance in those days. After 3 years, I went home. I was qualified. I was a staff nurse. And I went home to tell my father that Malaysia at that time, it was not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in London because I had this feeling that I would do better in London. So my father said, okay. So I came back to London and I kind of climbed up the career ladder, I must say, because I became a staff nurse and I managed orthopedic unit. I met my ex-partner with whom I have spent this afternoon. And I had a home, and although I didn't get married and I don't have children, I had a relationship, but it didn't go well for me and for him. We were just not, suited for each other. But that's okay. My heart was broken, and I left. I had to resume my career again, and as I was working in a unit as a manager, I saw an ad for to work as, in those days it was called Equal Opportunities, but it was really, UK was becoming multiracial, multicultural, Birmingham, Manchester, East End of London. So immigration was happening, and the NHS, they were appointing senior managers to bring a strategy on equal opportunities.
Yeah.
So I had this role. I went for the interview and I got the job, and I had this amazing role. That's when I learned all about management, working with people, influencing people, getting people to write the strategies and processes, and changing policies around equal opportunities. So when I first started, I had two hats. One which was to improve access of services for Black and ethnic minority communities, and the other one was to improve the employment practices, because the further up you went, board level and directors, there wasn't diversity. There wasn't the topic that we talk about today. There was not diversity. There were no Black and ethnic minority people appointed at a higher level. You found all the Black and ethnic minority people working as nurses, maybe sisters, and the porters, the ancillary, what we call ancillary staff. So that was my role, and I loved it. I learned a lot. And then I got headhunted so my first job role was in East End of London. Then I got headhunted and I went to Central London, Central Middlesex, and St. Mary's Hospital. So it was a big role. And then I got to a place in my life and I didn't realize that I was going through a burnout. I didn't even realize, but I felt disengaged. I felt my personal life wasn't going anywhere. And I had this job role and it was exhausting, because anybody who works in EDI they get emotionally exhausted and tired because you're trying to bring change. and change doesn't happen overnight. So I decided to go home after 30 years. So
After
that's
30
what,
years. Mm.
yes, 30 years in London. So I'm now in Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, that's I remember. That's sorry if I interrupt. So you would wanted to
No,
argue?
no, no.
No.
Yeah, so I went to Kuala Lumpur. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no connections in Kuala Lumpur to do with anybody in corporate world. I thought I was going to do trading and um, consultancy and all that. I didn't have any connections. So I was taught in a kindergarten, and then there was no kindergarten in the place where I had a small house. So there was a community, but there was no kindergarten. So when I found out how to set up a kindergarten business, and I learned how to run a kindergarten.
Mm.
So I did a program, I did courses, and I set up a kindergarten. And I ran that as a business for 10 years.
Oh,
And then I got restless because I'd worked in the corporate world. So I felt that 10 years is enough for me because I taught all these children and they were all doing very well in school. And I was reading about coaching while I was kind of getting to the end of 10 years, and I felt that I needed to be in KL, Kuala Lumpur, which is a city. And so I started reading about this thing called coaching. So I went and looked at the school that was training coaches, and I went and did a weekend program and came back to my where I was living and running the kindergarten. I sold the business and I relocated to Kuala Lumpur. And 2011, I did my coaching certification and I certified as a coach. And that's what I do now from 2011 till today.
lovely. I just would like to tell everyone, a small secret, about you as well. And because first of all, that you are amazing example, perfect, I should say, example, that you
Yes.
change the countries, you change many jobs, being from the nurse to manager and business owner, kindergarten
Yeah.
owner, and started, your coaching studies.
Yes.
Because the secret, what I would like to tell, listeners, is that I
Yes.
remember that in conference we tried,
Yes.
when we were in our circle, we tried to guess your age, and nobody were right. And then you were so honest and told, how old you were. So, wow, everyone were, like, applauding to you, double, and saying it's amazing. So this is your perfect example, and I'm so honored to know you and speak with you today, because it's showing that this is never is never ending. You just, it depends on your heart what you're looking. It's never too late.
Yes.
It's never too late.
Yes.
And
Yes.
may I tell listeners that you started your coaching business being your 60s. Yes.
Yes. I was 16 years old.
Yeah, you see, so it's never too late to change or do the career, and you're so brave, lady.
That's right.
Traveling around the world. Look, from Malaysia, you come to America, speak on the stages, inspired us, doing the coaching. Again, traveling to London. You've been in Paris, as I know, recently. You just, wow, give us, Vimala, that energy, for everyone.
You really cheered me up because I had this afternoon of as women, we have to believe that we can do anything. And that belief doesn't come easily. It came to me too very late in my life. Once I became a coach, my life just changed because I love coaching. And it's almost, and I realize it's my calling. And even though I'm 75, I am still working. And I hope to work until I can. But the whole thing is about what, as women, what is it about us that we give away? That's why who the heck moved my tiara? That's what it's all about. We give it away. We throw it away when we know that we have the power to do anything we want. So when I met my ex-partner, so I'm going to share this, I just became a doormat. I was nobody will believe this. I was very happy living with him, but I didn't, I gave up my career. Um, and then I realized that we give it away, or we hide it, or we put it aside, but we don't have at least I didn't have the thinking that let me carry on with my career. I gave all that up to be a housewife. And I'm not saying anything about being a housewife because I didn't have the sense to maintain my career and be a partner. I didn't. So I wanted to say this because that was me at that time. So when I look at women today who can have career, who can have a partnership, marriage, it is amazing. I'm just like, oh my God, how do they do? And have children. They are parents, they're mothers. And then I say to myself, how amazing are we? We can juggle all these balls, all this stuff. And how amazing are we? And that's what led me to write the program called Who the Heck Moved My Tiara? Because I coach many women who are all amazing in their careers, but every woman sits in front of me and says, when I ask them, what would you like me to coach you on? They say, I want to be confident. And I'm like, why? And then I realized that how we put it away. This empowerment we have, this power we have, we just kind of forget it and put it away, and then I coach them to get it all back. And then they call me and they say, you know what? I got promoted.
Yes. It's lovely. That's what we're here for, to help, to guide, to show the way, to encourage. And as you said, is everything coming from our experience. The same it was in my marriage, that 23 years I was just like mom, housewife, and I needed to work. I did extra work, but still, and I needed to manage all these things. And expectations for me from them, it was just like, oh yeah, you are just you cooking, cleaning, we just doing some particular things. And of course, in the beginning, I even didn't realize that everyone is priority except me. It doesn't mean that I don't love, my children, or I didn't love my husband, but it's mean, I just, was spreading myself to others, but I forgetting, that I wanted something more in life. And I had the sense from my childhood that I would like to do something more. I would like to, go around the world more, just meet interesting people and speak, just I even didn't realize at that time what exactly I would like to do, how I am going to help people. I knew only one thing, being young, that, oh yes, I would like to have 3 children. It's definitely, it's come from universe. I would like to have 3 children, and I had, and I have still. So thanks God. But this is not enough just being mom or wife. I was a good teacher in my native country as well. But in the end of the day, something for my soul was missed. That's we're trying to look, and that's is my long path, being as a personal growth and finance coach.
And it's very interesting. It's very interesting how when we are at that stage where we are younger and have everything, marriage, children, career, or work, we don't invest in personal growth. That's what I realized as well, that although I was a manager, I was a senior sister, I went to all the courses, but it was a technical program. It wasn't personal growth. Everything was
Not
to do
what your
with
soul
business.
wants. Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I think we need, all women need, the personal growth. And the younger, that's why we need to do this work from women who are as young as maybe even in schools, you know, but also when they first,
Sooner is better, as we're saying. Yes. So,
yeah,
mhm.
yes,
You know what
so,
happened? With me then, my children are already independent and grew up, so they
yeah,
they left the house, the
yes,
home. So I realized then they left. It was like emptiness syndrome, you know. I felt so insecure at the same time and lonely, and oh my God, my life nearly is now ended. So, and the end of the day, sitting and reflecting. So who is Vida? So
yeah,
I forgot all my hobbies. I never had the time for hobbies. I was just working or family or something or something or something or somebody, and there's no me. So that's why you are very right about this. Need to invest in your personal growth. You know,
yes,
especially I should say probably especially then you have children, you're a mom. You need to find out at least this 10 or 15 minutes for yourself, just to read the book, to
yes,
reflect on yourself,
yes,
just do something pleasure for your heart,
I
because
agree.
it's yes, we should give love, we should take care about our beloved ones around us, but we should love ourselves, because what
Oh, I
I faced,
totally
I
agree.
had lack of self-love. That's
Yes, yes,
it's,
yes,
we can't forget, especially being moms, we can't forget ourselves. And
yes,
last time I gave example, like we cannot pour from empty glass. We need to be full
that's right.
in heart to give and share to everyone. So
Oh, I so agree with you, Maida. And that's why what you're doing, it is so needed because we need to speak from our heart. Most of the time, we don't because we're so caught up with the role of a mother, being a wife, doing the shopping, and we don't have that moment to pause and sit down and say, what is it I need to do now? So it is it is a question you need to ask, but it needs to come from your heart. You know, it needs to come from your heart. So if all women can do that, it'll be amazing, isn't it?
mhm.
Because I didn't do it. When I met my partner, I was just so happy to not work, and I thought, oh God, I've got to do this, do
Dream
that.
life.
And as I said, I was a doormat
Mm.
until I woke up one morning and I said, this is not what I want to do. So
So,
it's
shall I ask you about that moment? Because you just spoke about, we need to listen our hearts. And can
yeah,
you share with us a little bit, your personal moment? Because you told me before interview that you visited London and you went to that place uh,
yes,
where you used to live in London. And
yes,
your words were, I felt so tired and exhausted being in London on
yeah.
that moment, and it gave me bad memories. So um, I would like that you share with us what helps you to open your heart, to hear your heart. As you said, your coaching is your true calling. So what helps for you after this bad
Yeah.
realization, bad memories? Can you share with us, please?
It's such a lovely, wonderful, powerful question, Vida, because that's when I have to speak from my heart. So what happened was
Yeah.
um, I kind of felt because I didn't go back home, there was an expectation after I finished my training to go back to Malaysia, be with the family, take care of my sisters. And I made a decision that I'm not going to do that. So a moment came when I felt guilt. And I was working. I had this amazing role. It was hard, not hard work, but it was challenging, very, very challenging. And I had meetings after meetings after meetings. And I would go to meetings and it would be talk, 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 talk. But there was no real intent to bring real change, to make diversity and inclusion happen. So I felt very frustrated and I said, why am I doing this? Why am I? I'll never forget. I'd finished a meeting. I was standing in a bus stop and I said, why am I doing this? Surely there must be another way to live. So that was number one. Then number two was I'd been on a holiday and I came home quite late. It's a lovely over my head, but I came home and I said, my God, it's so empty because I was lacking relationships because I didn't have a partner. I didn't have my family. None of my family lived near me except my cousins. But there was this emptiness about, oh my God, there's nobody to say hello to me. So that was number two. Number three was I used to go past a church. I'm a Hindu, but I don't mind going into a church. And I went into the church and I said, tell me what I need to do. And I was kind of sad and depressed. And I think I was crying as well. And I looked across and there was a piece of paper. And I opened the paper and it was, you would know, it was a prayer to St. Jude. Somebody had placed it there and I opened it and I saw this prayer, which is, I can't remember it now, but it's really asking St. Jude to give an answer. So you need to repeat that prayer, I think 5 or 7 days. So I went back to the church every day. And because I was torn between leaving London, where my friends are, my life is, my home, and going back home to my family who knew me, but yet they didn't know me. I used to go home, but it was like, hi, I'm here. Oh my God, here's the presents. Okay. And I come back to my home, which is London. So I was in this turmoil about, will I fit in? What will that be? And I had fear of the unknown, really. So I prayed. So that was the third thing. And then I said, that's it. I'm going home.
Okay.
So it was, I took a risk, I must say. I took a risk. But the minute I landed in KL, I felt the sun was shining.
Lovely.
And my family were all waiting there.
Oh,
And there was this welcoming party.
oh,
They were so happy that I made the decision to go home.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Vimala. I really felt, you're sincere, that, touched my heart that you said, it was not easy to talk about that. I felt you.
Yeah.
And really thank you. I hope that your example, your very rich story of your life and these changes inspire
Yeah.
many of other listeners. And because our time is running to the end, I have,
Yeah.
can you briefly give 3 tips how to
Okay.
start
Yeah.
hear your heart better?
To hear your heart better. Oh my God, I love this question. Okay. In order to hear your heart better, you've got to be quiet. You've got to quietness because you will then hear what your heart is really telling you, you know? So it's not even being present, but it is being present. But you really, really, really have to dig deep inside. And for that, you need to be quiet. So being quiet and silent, I like that, because I live on my own. And there are many times when I have to be very quiet, very silent, and meditate. And now I meditate. I meditate. But in those days, I didn't know anything about meditation.
Mhm.
So meditation is very good for you to hear your heart, to hear the voice of your heart, because your heart has a voice. And if you can quieten all the other noises around you and the chatter that goes on we all have chatters in our head, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of
Forever.
so it's nice. I
So
think. Mhm.
yeah. Meditation and I think it's also about reflection. Number two, what can be, we need to reflect. We
So,
need to how to reflect.
mhm. So basically,
And the third,
mhm.
the third one is meditation, quiet reflection. And I think the it's very interesting question, because how can you hear your heart? And I trained as a nurse, so I know how to put a stethoscope and
Yeah.
listen to the heartbeat. But
Maybe
it's
you
the
can start
voice,
from that.
yes, but it's the voice of the heart.
Yes,
My God, you've asked a very amazing
that's
question.
fine.
I'm
So
going to write it in
you
LinkedIn.
can
I'm going
write.
to
You
I'm going to
think about
research.
it now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm really appreciate your time, and I know that you are very tired after running all the day in London. And we can talk, of course, a lot with you about our experiences. And I just reminding everyone that we had today Vimala, who is very uh, amazing coach, and she has a game change coach consulting company in Kuala Lumpur. And so my final wish today to everyone and for you, Vimala, and my tip will be to help you to stay in this present moment.
Yeah,
Simply take your favorite flower, switch off your
yeah,
any social media, and just put in front of you and just do a slowly meditation with the flower, looking at the every and each petal, leaf, or and color, and just clear your minds. No matter where you are, you can do that for 1-2 minutes, and it helps to start you calm down in this busy running world. As I said, uh, flowers is my another passion. They always with me, and this helps me to listen my voice of heart, to stay still, to stay in present. And yes, we need to listen that heart, and we need to find the time for developing, for growing ourselves and listening our voice. And I hope that voice of Liberta will reach all of you, no matter where you are, no matter from which background you are. Just let's spread this spark of positivity and real stories about our true calling of hearts. Uh, and I inviting you to liberate your own voice of heart to be
yes.
truly happy. Thank you, Mala. Thank you, everyone who were listening, and sending you my love and wishing all the best. See you.
Thank you, Vida. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a very pleasure to have you, and all the best.
Thank you.